The defending champions have started with a 3-0 victory over newly promoted Coventry City. Mikel Arteta, as you can see, has joined us. Congratulations, Mikel. The guys have been full of praise, talking about the slickness of your passing, the swagger with which you played. What did you like about it?
Yeah, it was a lot to like on that performance right from the beginning. I think we were really dominant. We really flow with the ball. We connected with each other in a really impressive way. We scored two brilliant goals. Probably we should have scored the third one before halftime as well. And after halftime, we scored the goal with Martin, a bit lucky. And then after that, obviously, we have to manage the game. But overall, I think the overall performance was very positive and a lot of big individual performances as well,
So at half-time, what do you say at half-time?
We need to go for the third goal.
Yes.
And we know that this is the Premier League and the 2-0 doesn't give you any comfort or confidence to close the game. So that's what we wanted to do, and I think we've done it.
Yeah.
And credit to the team.
Mikel, it feels like the first time I was talking to Martin Ødegaard, that combination of Saka, Ben White and Ødegaard on that side, it's a brilliant combination and it really works well together. They played together quite a bit 2 years ago and then obviously last season. Do you see that as well, that they're the best three on that side from a point of view of familiarity? I know you've got great players, but they're so good together.
When you talk about connections and chemistry, those three got that. Obviously, they played so many minutes together in the past. Last year, we didn't really use them because of different situations. Today, not only that, but even on the left side, you start to see different dynamics with Christos and Ricky. I was very impressed.
Mikel, I want to ask you about your fullbacks and how much sort of licence you give them to go forward and you know, pop up in different positions. I mean, Ben White's got an assist tonight, but Calafiori as well. But especially Calafiori, you know, you think of, he got to goal last weekend, he set up a goal tonight. Can you give us a little bit of insight in where they're allowed to go, where they're allowed to roam? So often they find themselves between the lines.
Yeah. Well, in relation to the opponent's behaviour, in relation to how the opponents behave, they need to do certain things to try to cause them problems. Not to be easy to detect, not to be easy to mark, and to occupy spaces that can be really harmful for the opponent. And they are brilliant. They have this intuition, they have those qualities, they are able to occupy different spaces. They are a big threat in the opponent's box as well, so we need to use them.
Mikel, how do you want to see your team actually evolve on the pitch?
Day by day, it will be in relation to the opponent as well. Depending on the opponent's propositions, we will have different ideas and things that we want to do. But improve in every phase. Today there were some very good moments. There were moments in the second half after the third goal that I wasn't too happy about it. The timing, the compactness of the team at times. So yeah, we need to keep improving.
You've obviously brought in Esri Konsa today to add to Bruno Guimaraes and significance on this particular question because they're two players who are 28 years old. Mm-hmm. A lot of other clubs will shy away from spending money on that age player. Mm-hmm. Why do you see that as an opportunity?
Because we look at the squad as a whole, and in the defensive line we have a really young defensive line. In midfield we have a different profile, but as well we have two players with three with Max, Ethan and Miles as well, that we already have the next generation there ready for them. And there are players that are 28, not 38, and when they are at their prime, especially on the hearts of the team, I think they're going to give us so much in the next few years as well.
You're going to have an amazing squad when this is all done. Mm-hmm. we hear still rumours and reports of maybe another addition to the forward line. Don't know if you can say anything about anybody there. How are you going to keep everybody happy?
Winning. I think winning helps always, and making sure that they earn the right to play on the pitch, which is the best way to do it. And last season we have an incredible experience because everybody accepted the role on the day, and then I think we scored the most goals from the finishes than any other team. So these are the things. If it's a collective purpose, we know to play for competition every 3 days, otherwise we're not going to do it. So otherwise they will complain if they play 55 games and every 3 days. So try to keep them happy, but that's a collective effort, not only mine.
We look forward to seeing you manage it all. Mikel, thank you so much. Good start.
Thank you, man.
3-0 victory, and they are up and running. It's going to be some battle, isn't it, getting in the Arsenal team this season?
Well, that's what's got to happen. If they're doing what he's saying he wants to do, he wants to build legacy, he wants a dynasty, then you've got to bring the players. You've got to bring as many as you can. You've got to make them fight for it. Because that's how you become champions. That's
You're
how
so
you win.
smug tonight, Ian.
It's not smug. It's not smug. This is what he said. This is what he was saying after the Champions League final, what he wants. And that's why we're trying to go for certain players that can change the DNA of the club where he wants
Do you know
to
what
go.
Ian said back end of last season? He was looking forward to doing some games this season when it wasn't so tense.
Exactly.
It's amazing, Dave.
Yeah.
Actually, we've looked at Mikel Arteta for the last few years with an element of doubt. Can he get over the line? Can he win the title? Is he going to be able to get past Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp or whoever, Arne Slot, obviously, in the last couple of years? Now I think that he must feel so different. He's got that title under his belt in terms of the surety of where he's going. Obviously, I'm sure he's always been confident, but when he's won that title, I think he becomes a very dangerous animal in this Premier League, because obviously all the other managers are quite young, and he's gone from being, I think I said before the game, from being the apprentice to the master, and you can just see it in him. I don't think he'll have a problem. He's creating a real problem for himself in the sense of, actually, Sir Alex Ferguson used to say the hardest thing was leaving those players out every single week, and he's going to have to do the same. He has got, I said to him off camera, what a squad he has built here, and if he puts another forward into that, I mean, I don't see.
You didn't have the bottle to name the forward, did you?
Now did you?
I wanted to hedge my bet.
No one did.
Forward.
A journalist will never go with one name because there might be another one.
But you know something? If they could, I mean, look, we think that Alvarez wants to go to Barcelona, but if they could get Alvarez somehow, Arsenal, I mean, that is going to light this place up, because then you've got a world-class striker to go with all the other world-class defenders and midfield players, and they become not just, actually, to be fair, Premier League title winners. You're then thinking that they can go that extra step and win a Champions League as well. So, look, it's massive this next 10 days. He does need, I mean, Jamie's made the point quite a few times that they just need that little bit, he needs that little bit of magic up front, that when you don't play well, they'll go and win a big game for you. And he just maybe, has he got enough of that?
What I would say is he probably hasn't got the biggest of names, but he could then grow to be a fantastic player. And if Vinicius Junior had come and he put in that performance, they were saying, wow, maybe is this superstar to take you to another level. But what he does look, and I think Peter mentioned it in commentary, is an upgrade on Trossard and Martinelli. It's one game. It's a game. But he's certainly looked the part early on. And to go straight into the team straight away as well as bodes well for him. But it's a tougher proposition to come. But I always think left wingers being the one where I think there's a real drop-off from
I like, man, look, maybe I like Trossard last season. I actually like Martinelli. What's happened to him? Because, Martinelli is still a hell of a wide player, in my opinion.
With Martinelli, just looking at Zolis there, and I think for his debut, and he's had a very good pre-season, and again, he's got a very good goal-scoring record in Brugge when he was playing goal-scoring and assists. But respect to Martinelli and the way Martinelli's been treated at the moment, it really makes me feel uncomfortable, because he always gives 100%. I'm not saying that he's the greatest. He's really come up with some big moments for Arsenal, some big games, and scores some very important goals. And the way he's been treated at the end here, I know they might want him out, and there's a lot of people might say, yeah, maybe it's time for him to move on, but there's ways of doing that, and it should suit him as well, how he wants to lead.
Sorry, by being treated, you talk about not being involved in the squad tonight.
Not being spoken to, doesn't know what's going on.
We know this, do we? I don't know this.
Yes, I do know this. Yeah, I know this, and it's again not being involved with the Community Shield squad, not being involved tonight. He doesn't know what's happening. I think he's got a year left. And again, if you bring in someone like, if you bring Vinny in, if you bring that kind of level in, Martinelli can say to himself, well, okay, they brought him in and they brought Zolis, so I might be third. But if you bring in Zolis in and he's looking at Zolis, then you're looking at you look at Madueke on the other, you're thinking to yourself, I think I can still have it with these two. I still think I've got something to offer here. So for him to be nowhere near it just makes me feel a bit sad for him.
Don't they have to sell somebody? Sometimes maybe even force someone out.
Yeah, but you're saying that I'm not even bothered about all that day. I'm just saying that I think he's done enough with this team, in this squad, to be treated a little bit more respect than he's been treated with at the moment.
That's the challenge, though, isn't it? Keeping a team happy when you've got so
Probably
many,
that's the next step for Mikel. You're going to get maybe that kind of situation and how it's dealt with, because at the moment they're on that trajectory going that way, and they're not looking at the stragglers at the minute. So I'm just hoping it can all work out right for Martinelli.
Did we actually learn, do you think, tonight watching Arsenal here?
Well, I thought obviously we're talking early in the season, and he looked very sharp. What you'd expect them to be, coming up from the pre-season. Thought the game in the Community Shield they looked pretty sharp, but they've taken that into this game. And obviously, I think it was a tough one for Coventry. You're coming up against a team that went around the immense pressure to get this done. Once they've got it done, they've got the monkey off their back, and they just look perilous. I think too much space was left in the midfield for them to exploit, and they just couldn't get near them. They couldn't get going. It was a tough baptism for Coventry today.
But we shouldn't patronise Coventry either, should we, Gary? They're here on merit. They have to be judged for being a Premier League side now. Was there a gulf in class?
Yeah, there was. I always think it's most telling. I think you can get into a defensive shape, and that's fine. But I think it's very difficult. I said before the game, it's very difficult to break out from that defensive shape when you've got a team like Arsenal that smother you and their centre-backs are pushing in. And you've got to have real quality to be able to play out against that counter-press. And they just didn't have that tonight, and you wouldn't expect them to have that. What I would say is I don't think it's a bad result for Coventry, and that isn't patronising them, because at 2-0 down after 25 minutes, I thought, oh, this could get messy. And actually, they hung in there. They got a little bit better before half-time. The goalkeeper will be disappointed with a couple of the goals, but look, it was a bit of a free hit for Coventry tonight.
Smother was almost, it's the right word, isn't it, Ian? Because at times it felt like they just couldn't breathe, and they also contributed to their own downfall. We have to say that as well in the first half.
Especially with the first goal. You like to think that maybe, I don't know, you might have thought this is the kind of thing you get away with in the Championship, but I think that when he's got to attack that, and then once he doesn't get it here, I think his defender's got to call him. He's got to try and get that to him, and then they can maybe clear their lines. But then after that, it was just pure class, and the way Arsenal just ruthlessly just put them away there. You know, the finish. It's a great ball across, and I think he's got to get closer. And once he doesn't win this, then he's got to go back to the goalkeeper. Hang on a minute, my man's here.
Martin Ødegaard has just joined us. Martin, congratulations.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was good to get the first one. I think first game of the season is always a bit, nervy, and I think they played well. From the start they gave us a good fight. A lot of physical players. They gave us a good battle. So yeah, it was key to get the first goal, and I think after that we controlled the game much better, and we created a lot of chances, and yeah, it was solid.
Everyone's using the phrase that Arsenal looked really sharp tonight. Did you feel that out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we look good. Still feel like it's things we could have done better. And we could have scored more, could have created more. I think we're so many times in and around the box where we can be a little bit more precise and a little bit more sharp. But of course, it's a good game and a good performance. But still, I feel like we can do even better, to be fair.
I was going to say, in respect of the sharpness, is that something do you think you're going to be able to maintain? Because sometimes you watch Arsenal, and that's the only thing that you feel like, what we need to keep moving it quicker. Is that something we need to focus on?
Yeah, no, I think so, especially the way the opponent plays against us. There's many times we play a low block, a lot of players in and around the box. So, yeah, we need those relationships that we have, players wanting the ball, a lot of movement like you saw today, and then, as I said, I think we can be even more sharp with the last pass. I had a few there where I have to give it better, and then we can score more goals, So, yeah, it was a good game, but we can do better.
Martin, the competition for places in and around the area that you're playing, you've got Zubimendi, Mourinho, Declan Rice, Mars Lewis, Skelly, Eberechi Eze, so many players, yourself obviously. What's the feeling like in the group? You must feel so confident right now about the squad and I suppose the way in which the manager's continuing to go. It's relentless, really. Yeah, no, for sure. I think the quality in the squad and the team is unbelievable. As you say, you can put so many players on that pitch and they will perform at the highest level. So, and we see that every single day in training. We push each other, and you always have someone there to push you to get better. And I think that the level we compete at in training is really high, and I think that helps us a lot as well. So yeah, the squad is unbelievable, and yeah, everyone is pushing each other. Martin, can I ask you about where you feel you are right now? Because probably in last season, a little bit in and out of the team, I felt your role towards the end of the season and getting Arsenal over the line was fantastic when you come off the bench at West Ham. I thought you were brilliant in the World Cup as well, especially in that Brazil game. Fantastic last week again. Do you feel like, you're the captain, but you were in and out of the team last season. Do you think this is a sort of big season to re-establish yourself again and almost see yourself as one of the top creative players in the Premier League? Yeah, no, that's the goal for sure. I think last season was a big struggle for me. I think I had too many injuries and a lot of weird situations, a lot of bad luck. Could really never find the rhythm, It's hard when you always go in and out, and sometimes you play maybe not 100% fit, so it was hard. But yeah, I feel good now. My body is good. I've had a good summer, good World Cup, good pre-season, and yeah, now I'm feeling 100%, so that always helps, Nice. So I feel great.
And you got your goal as well, Martin. I mean, it sounds a bit cheeky to say, but because you scored last week as well, you've actually beaten last season's tally already.
Yeah.
You're aware of that.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah.
That's your perfect position there, Martin.
Yeah, no, that's a good
that right
position.
channel.
Yeah, it's a good ball from deck as well. And then Ben is always there on the overlap, and then it's a top finish, I would say.
But a player of your quality, will you be setting yourself goals? Because you have been hitting double figures in the past.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's what I want to do. You know, I want to help the team to create chances, score goals, and I think it's not the best finish, obviously, but I'm there.
It's great to see you there, Mark.
I'm there, yeah, I'm
Yes.
there in the right area,
Yeah.
and I think that's been a big focus, you know, to be in and around the box and to. Yeah, then you get this luck as well.
Martin, that three on that right-hand side, Saka, Ben White and yourself, that was a real brilliant combination a couple of seasons ago. That just seeing there, that would you say that's the most comfortable you are on that side when you three play?
I think, I mean, whoever plays is so many good players, you know, and we have great relationships with all of them. But I think we played so many games together, you know, the three of us, as you said, probably 2-3 seasons ago, we played almost every single game together, so we know each other really well, and I think we complement each other really well, so I think you could see that today as well.
Martin, we have to let you go. Jamie has awarded you. Go on, do the honours. There's no celebration, please, here tonight, Jamie.
Should we get a picture with Stuart?
Yeah, let's get a picture. Fantastic. Thank you, mate. Thank you so much.
Well done. I'm sure the first of many. Congratulations, Martin. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
He did mention, sorry, guy. He did mention, being in and out. His body's in a good place now, and what we saw, I think, especially like you mentioned it in the World Cup, we saw a player that was that looked fit, looked sharp, looked ready to go, and he started the season in the same way. He ended the season, and the goal against West Ham in particular was where I started to see, okay, he's starting to get to what he does, because I think he's the only person in that particular scenario who sets that goal up for us to score, for Leandro Trossard to score. So I'm just glad to see that he's started the season well. That's all I'm doing. I'm just very glad to see that happening.
He's exceptional on the ball. His understanding of the game is fantastic. I actually think that, and I'm being respectful here to sort of Havertz and to Gyökeres, but if there was an Ian Wright up front for Arsenal who made those little runs all the time, I think he would be even better. I think because Gyökeres always comes to the play and so does Havertz, he's almost always playing possession in the final third rather than playing those slip-through passes, which I think could be so dangerous. So I actually think that if Arsenal were to get an Alvarez, I actually think he would actually go up a level as well himself, because I think that would be perfect for the style of play. So yeah, I think he's a fantastic player. I actually thought when Eze came in, he would be out of the actual team. I thought that he would take his spot, but he looks like he's re-established himself.
But in terms of being stronger as a team, Jamie, sometimes it's not about the signings that you make. Sometimes it's the players already in the building. So Havertz, Saka and Martin Ødegaard on the score sheet tonight. Three players who probably weren't at their top level because of injury for most of last season.
No, 100%. And I mean, I say it a lot, and I think I've said it tonight before the game, that I still think they lack a world-class player in the front four. But 2 years ago, the way Saka and Ødegaard were playing, I thought it was just natural that they were going to make that next step. They were just almost there. And for whatever reason, it didn't quite happen. Whether it was injuries, whether it was being 100% fit, whether the team weren't at the best a year or so ago when Liverpool won the title. But they were really close, I felt, to getting to the levels that we were seeing Manchester City players and Liverpool players who were winning leagues. You think of Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland, you think of Salah at Liverpool and Mane. They got to that level and took their teams over the title. Now, Arsenal won the league without them doing it.
Yeah.
In a fully strange way. They actually won it by having a great defence, great goalkeeper, Declan Rice in front. But I still think there's scope for those players to get back to where they were a couple of years ago and maybe get to that level.
We've done first goal, we've done the third goal as well. We'll take you back to the second goal now, because it was a really nice build-up actually, wasn't it, Ian? And the finish is pretty straightforward, but how much will that help Bukayo Saka going forward?
Well, to be honest, like you said, the first game of the season, you always want to be getting yourself on the score sheet. You can see him; he looks fit, he looks sharper. He's going to get himself on the back stick like he does. But again, Solis does brilliantly there. Goalkeeper could have done maybe better, but you just got to be in there to finish those off. And again, Saka's, for me, he's somebody he can be getting between 10 and 15 goals.
Which he has done in the past.
He has
seven
done,
last season.
7 last season. I'm sure he'd be disappointed with that, because I believe that he can get more. I think you make a really good point, Gav, about him, Ben White and Ødegaard. They are very good, and a lot of our work does come down the right-hand side when them three are playing. But if he can get into this kind of position more frequently, he will score the goals, because I feel like he looks fitter, Ødegaard looks fitter, you know, Havertz looks fitter. It's a brilliant start for us at the moment.
When they're actually in possession and they're actually keeping the ball in the final third, they then don't let you out when they give it away. And it's like they're all over you. Pep's Manchester City teams used to do it. The Barcelona team of Pep used to do it. And then Mikel Arteta, I think the best thing that I see them do is that they recycle the ball really well, but when they give it away, they're all over you, whether it's Saliba and Gabriel or it's Mosquera and Gabriel tonight. And it's just hard to get out against them if you've not got real quality.
Jamie, they paid for one or two individual errors, but what do you think they could have done better collectively, Coventry?
I'm not really sure. To be honest, you're watching the game and it's the level we're talking about. You know, they lost the Champions League final by a penalty. You know, and also I was thinking in the first half. I obviously mentioned it a few times on commentary. When you're looking at Arsenal playing the way they were knocking the ball around the first half, you're thinking, is this because of the difference in level? You know, promoted teams just come up, or is this extra sort of bit of confidence and swagger now of winning the title? We're the champions. They were always the nearly men. Does that change you psychologically? Just give yourself that little bit of confidence and belief to also have that arrogance in your playing. I just felt there was signs of that in that first half of that. Now they'll have tougher tests to come, and can they do that against better teams? We'll see. But I think the psychological factor of actually being champions now will be what takes this team to another level, not necessarily in terms of going by some superstar player.
Time that these two teams have met since February 2001. And you mentioned that momentum earlier on, Theo, the winning mentality as well. That was what they wanted again tonight, to pick up where they left off.
Yeah, because they had a bit of an indifferent pre-season as well. We understand a lot of people at times really look too much into pre-season. It's not about that, it's all about the fitness levels. And yeah, they did die off, but you're going to expect them the first few games. And I think it's just, like I said before, getting those habits and creating that winning mentality is so important for this team, because as well, as soon as you start these habits, it's hard for these teams. You saw Coventry as well. They didn't know what to do at times, and they're two big gaps, two big spaces as well. And Arsenal, when they play with that handbrake off, I want to see a little bit more, but look, be a bit more patient. I need.
I think you had enough.
Yeah, look, I know you. However, I just felt, I feel like Arsenal, there's so more gears to go into, and that's great. And as well, even when the substitutions come on, that's when their chances are to come. I'll show Mikel, don't forget about me. I felt like some of them maybe could have done a little bit more coming on, maybe, but look, it's the first game of the season, you've got to give them the benefit of the doubt. But it's just a reminder of the guys that aren't starting. It's a big, deep squad. If you want to be in that starting lineup, it's the standards that Mikel will be looking at. I told you, didn't I, Eze having that shot at the end. Not sure if he'd be happy with that. I know it's such a small thing, but these are the little details that he will look into each individual player if he's going to be with them throughout the season. And that's just a sign to see.
And they're the ones who came on, because you were saying, well, surely this is a game for Max Downham. Yeah. I was saying, well, surely Victor Gyökeres is going to come on against this old club, and neither appeared.
I know, incredible. So many great players on the bench, they're all household names. But the one player that you think, don't you, like, come on, give him a bit of experience. What's the point in bringing a Marino on? I mean, he's played in the World Cup. He's not had much rest over this. Bring Max Downham on, give him more experience, more confidence. This could be his year. Could be a breakthrough year for him. So I was expecting to see him, but not this time. But Arsenal have got an embarrassment of riches, and that was typical Arsenal. They're so efficient. When you look at the strengths of that team, and you look at other teams that have been champions, you can't see the wheels coming off Arsenal. You can see them maybe dipping slightly and only getting 83 points instead of 85, but they're so structured. They're so good defensively. They've got such a good goalkeeper. They don't give anything away. It's very hard to see them not posting a really solid figure this year. And by solid, I'm thinking, late 80s, maybe even 90. And that'll take some catching. I think, the years when Manchester City got 100 and Liverpool 99, I can't see anyone that good at the moment, but I can't see Arsenal slipping. They're just a machine, a well-oiled machine.
And when you look at Timber and Saliba and Konza's watching on from tonight, and you've got a £75 million man, Bruno Guimaraes, to come back in as well. None of those even involved tonight.
No, I think tonight, me personally, I've seen a Premier League side playing against a Championship side that are going to have to find their feet quickly. I know they're playing the best in the business, but mistakes and positional play and allowing Ødegaard and Rice to have all that time in the middle of the park to play passes, you can't do it, not in this league.
You've really got to get on it quickly because you can't feel your way into the Premier League. Before you know it, you're bottom of the league, you're 6 points adrift. You've got to get to speed quickly. You really have.
And as you said at half-time, you can't make mistakes. And it was an individual error after 15 minutes, really, that got punished, wasn't it? Score sheet tonight, the skipper, Martin Ødegaard.
Just wonder how much the joyous experience of playing for your country in the World Cup has brought this Martin Ødegaard this season.
Yeah, no, I think it's a combination of many things. I think last season was really tough for me with injuries and could never really find my rhythm. So I think, first winning the league here at Arsenal, then having a good World Cup, feeling good with my body, feeling fit, and then a good break as well. So I think all those things makes me, put me in a good place right now, and I feel good. So it's really nice to feel that way.
Your goal celebration tonight did make me laugh, I have to say. The way you sort of, did it go in? It went in.
Yeah, no, it was a strange finish. I don't know what happened, to be honest, but it went in, and I'm there, in the right areas in the box. So that's the main thing, to be there. Then you get goals like that, so they all count, and really happy.
How impressed were you with Solis on his Premier League debut? Yeah,
amazing. I think he played a brilliant game. I think he's been brilliant whole pre-season, and he's so lively, so hard to defend him, and also really intelligent player. He always looks up and finds the right pass, and really dangerous all the time. So really good.
And how aware are you as a group that every minute of every game is important for every Arsenal player now, because the strength in depth, the competition for places is so fierce?
Yeah, no, the squad is unbelievable, and there's so many good players fighting for every single position, and you can see that in training. How we push each other, and we make each other better, and that's a good thing.
And finally, one comment you made in the match programme tonight really intrigued me. Arsenal not here to defend the title. Arsenal are here to attack the title.
Yeah, no, for sure, that's the mindset. We don't feel like we have to defend anything. We want to do it again, and that's the mindset. Last year is finished now, so we want to do it again, and we want to attack it, and we want to fight for it again.
Well done.
Thank you.
All the mindset, every message is such positive, isn't it, coming out of the dressing room and everybody's mouths?
Yeah, not just the players as well, it's the staff, it's Win the dog as well, of course. Don't forget about him. No, but I just think you need to keep on hearing these, and in the messages at the training grounds, and you constantly see them. It's always going to refresh your mind. It's always going to be a reminder. But like Martin says there, they're all pushing each other in a healthy way. I think it's important as well. They know where the line is, but because they want to get the best out of everyone, because the reward was win the Premier League. The next big one, of course, is the Champions League. However, look, I think they will keep pushing each other in the right ways, because it's important to have that healthy competition in the squad. I think that's the thing that's changed in previous years. I remember when I was there, at times there might have been indifferent with certain players, wanting players not to do particularly well, just so they could get a chance. I think there's a sense, for me anyway, when I see this group, when you see them all celebrate on the sidelines, they actually they're in it together. I think maybe sometimes, I don't know what you think, Mo, but like the mindset of certain players are actually kind of not happy, but they know they will play their role if they're not starting. And I think the way Mikel's managed those guys as well is really important. I don't know how you see it. I mean, you wouldn't have been happy you didn't play, I get that, but I just think there's a different side of it right now in the Arsenal setup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I look at it now and as well, and you listen to these guys, and actually their words have got credibility. Now they've won the league, you actually listen to them and think, oh yeah, I like that. Oh, I like that as well. When you keep coming second, when you've not done it before, all of a sudden you're listening and thinking, well, you still haven't done it. You've still got to get over that line before you can start talking like this. But now they've done it, all of a sudden, you read in their programmes, we're not going to defend it, we're going to attack the league title again. And all of a sudden you think, I like that. I like the sound of that. I like what Mikel Arteta was saying before the game. And with that title, with that confidence, people start standing up and listening. And as I say, it gives you credibility. It gives a bit more power in what they're saying and belief, and they'll be saying it with conviction and feeling it with conviction now. Now they're not, as I say, runners up all the time. Now they're the champions and everyone's trying to beat them. And they won tonight at a canter. I mean, if they had really wanted to turn the screw, they could have. And that was a nice thing for Arsenal, a nice thing for Arsenal fans, as it was virtually a training session tonight. Into that far corner, lovely finish from a classy player. He's not going to be so prolific, is he? I can't imagine Havertz scoring 25 league goals, but he brings so much more to the team. His hold-up play, his intelligence, his touch, bringing other players into play. And when he gets a chance, he rarely misses.
And he hardly played last season, let's remember. If he can stay injury-free, he'll be like half a new signing, really, won't he?
Yeah, he will be. And as well, he's a player that I always felt like in the big games, he's the go-to guy. He's so important for the squad because he's the player that gets the best out of everyone else. And I think Odegaard Martin really enjoys playing with someone like him because at times they rotate, he's comfortable in that position. Gyökeres is very different. They're completely different players, and that's the thing that people got to remember. Gyökeres will offer you something different. Havertz, he gets the best out of certain players, like the bounce players, Bukayo Saka at times. And at times, as wingers, you don't have to think about it. You know where your player's going to be. And because he can operate all those front line, he's quite happy wherever he goes on the field. So I think he's an excellent footballer, beautiful to watch as well. So elegant. It kind of reminds me of the way he floats around a bit like Ozil at times. And I just think at times maybe you think there's more in him, but it's just the way his presence is on the pitch.
It makes it look easy.
Yeah.
I mean, Arsenal looks so relaxed. I mean, Ben White I thought was outstanding as well, going on the overlap past Saka, and Coventry defenders are not quite sure what to do, and do I pass him on? And they're the little things, the information, and I'll stay, you go. Just wasn't there tonight. The ball back to Thomas, could have stopped that chance arising, but it's little margins. You're playing against the best, but it's little margins. Stop those little margins.
And you appreciated 2-0, one wide man to another, and Zolis had an impressive evening, didn't they, on his debut?
I like him a lot. He reminds me of Alexi, and the reason why I said it, where he kind of gets the ball's first touch is positive, first thought is forward, and I'm going to attack my fullback. And as a fullback, you hate that. Alexi always would just give the fullbacks a headache, and even when the number 17 just reminds you of him. I know he moved on to number 7 when Thomas Ricci moved on. However, there's something about the way he moves with the ball. He glides on the field, and they want to keep on giving it to him as well. And I think you can just see the confidence was growing, and he's very comfortable. He's got a bit more pace about him than Trossard does as well. So he's a bit of a hybrid between Trossard and Alexi, but very impressed. I know we said it's against Coventry. However, still, I think he'll get fitter and he'll get better, and the players will get to know his game a lot more. But I like what I see so far. I really do. I'm very impressed.
Potentially an upgrade on Trossard, do you feel? Bit of freshness there?
Yeah. I mean, they had Martinelli and Trossard, didn't they, last season? It's interesting that Arteta, he's shown his hand, hasn't he, really? He obviously didn't really rate it. He thinks there's an upgrade in there somewhere, and that's why he's got a start. I thought in the Community Shield he played particularly well as well, so good start. And a brave signing in many ways. I mean, he's had a little crack at English football and didn't really succeed. He's gone back abroad and then started playing well again. And so it's quite a brave move in a way. But it was of course, Vinny Jr. was mentioned, wasn't he, as coming over. I never saw that happening. But obviously, there's no smoke without fire. And it was a position that obviously Arteta was willing to strengthen. So a good start, really good start, because it's not easy to come into a team and hit the ground running straight away.
And because I think that's the side when you see him go down injured, you're like, it's going to be a big miss. But a fit Bukayo Saka and a fit Martin Odegaard, this just is a team that just excites me every day.
Yeah,
really does.
The skipper had his issues last season, had an excellent World Cup after his injuries, and he made it 3-0 just 4 minutes into the second half after Frank's half-time team talk.
Wingers kind of switched off at times. You mentioned it on so many times, the amount of times that the fullback was alone 1v1 with the wingers. It's music to my ears. Yeah. You just switch off, and you can't switch off against champions. You can't. But look, I feel like at times it just shows this is the standard. Frank will get the guys in and say, look, this is, you're not going to get a given here at all. It's just they're going to have to be a different mindset of getting used to losing a few more games. They won so many last year, and it's how the players are going to react losing. They won so many, last year. So that's the side that he's going to have to manage. But look, great goal, Martin Odegaard. You're right. It would have been nice if it was just...
it was nice for him.
But it actually looks worse and worse when you see it at the keeper as well, for me. I feel for keepers. I'm probably the biggest keeper basher ever. Yeah.
I hate keepers.
Yeah,
I don't feel
really
sorry for them.
But,
I don't feel sorry for them at all.
But as well, Martin Odegaard fit, it just gets everyone ticking for me. It really does.
OK, well, you said there, what will Frank Lampard learn? Let's get the post-match thoughts now from the Coventry City manager.
Frank, when you spoke in the build-up to this game, you said it would be an enormous challenge. How big a challenge did it prove to be this evening?
Yeah, clearly, big challenge. Fantastic team. Good lesson for our boys to see that the levels, and they played like champions, and it was a difficult game for us. So yeah, I think the experience of it is probably good for us in terms of the stadium, the atmosphere at the start of the game, the quality that they have, and then when you can see goals, not great from us, the goals. So, and that's the reality of this level of football.
Always lessons to be learned. What did you learn, and perhaps what did we learn about Coventry City tonight?
You see more from us than that. And Arsenal will beat a lot of teams here and play they do and control the game a lot. And there were some bits I didn't mind with us, and some individual performances I didn't mind, and we'll improve all the time. So I don't want to judge the lads on that tonight. They deserve better than that for what they did last year and what the challenges will be ahead. So I'm calm with it. I'm calm. Our support were amazing. I think they understand a little bit, but we lost the game, and we will learn the lessons.
The fact that it took you 60 minutes to get your first touch in their box, does that underline the task ahead for Coventry City?
Yeah, but every game won't look like that. This is an Arsenal team, confident and buoyed by the feeling of where they're at the moment, and that's what you have to understand. It's a team that's been built and well coached and good players all over the park. So I'm not concerned about the touches in the box tonight. The result is what it is. We'll go over the detail of it where we can get better. But the games going forward will look different. But as I say, I'm more concerned about the personality of taking on a game like that. I think we were a little bit timid in the first half. Maybe the occasion of it made us a little bit timid, and then when the first one goes in, and that's what we spoke about a lot before the game. So that experience will help us.
Do you like that calm, measured approach from him?
Yeah, I think you have to approach this result like that because Arsenal are so good, and we've seen how good they were last season. Theo said pre-season not been great, but they're back on the big stage and they just switched on again. The quality was incredible, and I think Frank's right to approach this result like that. Otherwise, his players could get too low and then you couldn't get yourself back up again. He said the fans understand. I think they do. I think the players now have gone, oh, that's the standard, is it? That's what they needed to see. And it's no bad thing for Coventry to have this result, because if they'd got a result and nicked a draw, they might have thought, oh, we're okay. They've got beaten by the best team in the country. Now their levels have to go so much higher.
They've got a tough game out the way as well, haven't they? You've got to look at positives. That's that out the way. One's good. Not very few teams will get points there. That's out the way. They can look at Hull now. They've got Hull in the next game. They beat Hull, which they've got a very, very good chance of doing. All of a sudden, they're probably in the. And it's an exceptional start to the league season for them. So you've got to look at the positives. I mean, the worst thing you can do is lose your confidence like that in the Premier League, especially when you've built all that, momentum for a season. All of a sudden, just getting one defeat against the champions, it can't ruin your confidence. So Frank Lampard, absolutely right to react like that.
I remember working with Big Sam, and he had all the fixtures, like the next 5-6 fixtures. And you would say 3 points here, none there, one, none at times. And as players, we all looked at each other thinking, it's strange. So I wonder in this sense, like I say, it was a free hit for the guys. I'm not saying Frank does it this way, however, it was just to kind of, it made the players think, well, we're not expecting anything from this game. Let's just go out there and play with a bit of freedom. It looked like they were a bit nervous in the end, but it did get better. And I expect them to get better throughout the season. I really do, because Frank expects that. But yeah, like I say, they can't be judged from Arsenal tonight. They're just exceptional, and they're, like they said, well drilled. And yeah, they were... But there's more in them. That's a scary thing as well. So I think he'd be probably pleased with the 3-0 defeat, actually, in the end, I think. And there's a couple of nice signs in the end, but they managed to get hold of the ball. I think that was the one thing. They felt like at times they were too eager to get too many bodies forward. But look, I think they learnt, at certain games when you play the big teams, just respect them a bit more. We sit back and try and keep the ball when you can. But at times, Sims was holding the ball and did some good things. But look, you can't judge them against Arsenal. They're the best in the country.